Good evening. This is Hard R Radio. Oh man, we're back for another show. Shout out to Zay. Zay, say what's up, Zay.
What's up? What's up?
We have Kiani in the house. Kiani, how you doing?
Good, good. Hi, guys.
Disgusting jersey
Excited to
on.
be here.
Disgusting
Wow.
jersey.
Disgusting Jersey.
Already started off hot. We've
Disgusting
been here
jersey.
for 60 seconds.
Wow,
Dis-
he went straight there.
oh man, I'm
Yeah, listen,
preach.
if I was a Giants fan, I'd be mad too.
Listen,
That's
we
okay.
we got excited after this past week. Listen, I'm that excited. We had a great draft. We should have a good team this year. I'm not thinking Super Bowl. I'm just like thinking respectability. That's all I'm thinking about right now. I just want us to be able to compete. And it looks like we brought in some good players. So I'm Preach. Welcome to Hard R Radio. Shout out to everybody who's been sending comments, participating, all that good stuff. We got a lot to get to today. And starting off with your jersey, your Kiani, please tell me about your fandom for the Eagles. You're living in Philadelphia, correct?
Yes, I've been in Philly now like 5 years. No, yeah, 5 years.
What was it about Philly that
So,
that that, that made you move there?
oh, in truth, I wanted to get up and out of New Jersey. I
Okay.
knew that that was not for me. New York was too expensive. And Philly was the next closest city. And I went to Penn State. I knew a lot of people in Philly. So I had community there. And it just made the most sense. And I ended up living in a great neighborhood. And the cities is a lot of fun. So I have
Okay.
no regrets.
Okay. Well, listen, you are an Eagles fan. Something happened this week, and then I will definitely start the segment off with you because we would definitely want your opinion on this. Now, you are a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles, and I would imagine you are a fan of Saquon Barkley, correct?
Correct.
Okay, but you are not a fan of our current president, President Donald J. Trump. Is that correct?
Very correct.
Okay, so what was your feeling? Not just them, not the whole team went to go visit because it's customary for whoever wins championships for that year, they go visit the president. Which, you know,
Hmm.
I'll share my opinion after the fact, but it's a ritual for some people. Okay, um, your team got invited, but the day before we saw your running back had playing golf and uh, yucking it up with our current president. Perfectly, I get it. I guess. How did you feel about it? Because it upset a lot of people.
Well, I mean, personally, I didn't feel no ways about it. I just felt that it was customary. And for him, of course, it wasn't required for him to go that's to be buddy buddy.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I know about Saquon, I can't speak for his politics. I just can't speak for his politics. I'm definitely in the camp of I separate the player and the game from who they are and their personal beliefs. That has nothing to do with me. Am I his friend? Do I keep his company? No, I do not.
Right.
Do I think he's a great player? Do I think that he helped us get a ring? Yes. And I'm gonna give him his credit. I'm gonna give him you mad because he couldn't do that for y'all. But it's okay. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I do. But truth be told, you know, um, am I a fan of him being, potentially a conservative, an ultra hyper conservative and friendly with Trump? No, I'm not. I don't personally love that,
Mm-hmm.
but that's different from the game.
Okay. Zay, in the bigger scope of this conversation, do you have an opinion on African American or just black males in general who support him? Forget the fact that they're golfing with him or just having dinner with him. Do you have a specific opinion about black men being a supporter of Donald Trump?
Um, Personally, I don't. I've met a lot of people who support Trump.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of union guys support Trump.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean, they love him, especially here in this city, because he put a lot of people to work. He also put a lot of companies out of work.
Mm-hmm.
Right, they're out of business. Um, Listen, we live in an age where everybody has an opinion and they're entitled to their opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to their beliefs. If they believe that that's their president, then that's their president. I'm not. this whole thing about getting into arguments and discussions on how I feel about or how people feel about, or if you're a Biden supporter or a Trump supporter or this, down the third, is just stupid for
Well,
me.
well, let me ask you because comedian D.L. Hughley said guys like Saquon aren't plugged in to black issues. He blasts certain, I guess, black players who decided to visit Donald Trump at the White House. Let me see what he says. And here's my thing. Not personally, we kind of know Donald Trump. We've known about Donald Trump for quite some time. He's always been the guy from New York, and he's had his stories and his comments. He's always been that celebrity person in New York. But there's always been the lawsuits and the discrimination lawsuits when it's come to whether it's his father, whether it's been him, when it's come to people of color, and alleged comments he has made in the past regarding African Americans. I do feel like there is a certain, if you are a black man who does support Donald Trump, and you've seen the tactics that his administration has taken, whether it's trying to get rid of like this whole idea of DEI, right? First of all, let me just define DEI in my perspective, and then I'll give you guys the floor what you define it as. DEI, in my opinion, is important not because it's inclusive for corporations. It's inclusive for customers first and foremost. So whether you're talking about luxury brands or whether you're talking about just wider brands that or just products that were mainly marketed to white males, the world is changing. Whether it's golf, whether it's luxury watches, whether it's whatever it may be, the the demographic aspect of the marketing has changed because more black people are into golf now. You've seen it, right? You see rappers golf. More people of color are golfing. More women are golfing. More women of color are golfing. More women of color are buying luxury watches. More men of color are buying luxury watches. Okay? So for me, DEI doesn't mean diversified corporations, just understanding your consumer base is becoming diversified. Kiani, what is your basic definition? What do you believe DEI stands for?
I mean, DEI definitely. I mean, I'm speaking out of it now. When you speak of spaces like corporations, businesses, schools. I think especially in schools, like higher education, university, colleges, DEI practices are important. Making sure that there is a community and a diverse community of your students
Mm-hmm.
or your workforce or whatever have you is important because if you are surrounded by only people who have one certain belief and one certain way of thinking, you're not going to be exposed too much. You're going to have a very one directional life, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You need to be able to um you know hear from other people and my point going back to DEI, what do I think DEI stands for? It's definitely, for what it is, diversity, inclusion, equity. Uh but for me, it's really relating to the idea of having I guess I'm not being able to word it well, but
Mm-hmm.
essentially a diverse community of people from all walks of life, you
Right.
know.
Jose, what is your perspective on DEI?
I don't know. For me, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, kind of, right? Because DEI was created in order to give everybody an opportunity, right?
No,
Um,
I don't believe so. I believe
well,
in my opinion. Once again, it goes back to the consumer relationship with corporations. If we're going to start marketing to certain demographics that we're not used to, then we need to understand that messaging doesn't end up being offensive, and nobody in our boardroom who is in the marketing room can speak for that community. Because like for instance, if I'm trying to market to more black males, why would a room of white males be writing the marketing scheme? Like It doesn't make any sense. So I think it's just having somebody at the table to say, yo, you know what? That photo with the watermelon and this, yeah, I don't think that's going to work. That's going to be offensive. Whereas,
Yeah, but yeah, but that's only one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is also the inclusion of other people of other races in corporation in the corporations themselves.
and
Not
genders,
only right, not only that aspect, but in all aspects of business, right?
right.
Hiring practices, all these different things. But I think that that also goes with the whole thing of quotas and all this other crap that came along that comes along with it, right? Or you got to have a X amount percentage of, people of color, X amount percentage of, regardless of whether they're, qualified or this or that, because now they're afraid of being sued. They're, you know what I mean? Like lawsuits and all the rest of it. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like I understand how it's very important, but on the same hand, like we're still, it's kind of like, it almost seems like a handout to a certain extent.
Mm,
It
I would have
almost
to
seems like
disagree.
a handout. Well, because when you're forced to do something as opposed to inviting your on your own, you're being
Yeah, but
forced.
the truth is, like in regards to hiring practices, for instance, right? We all know that racism still exists, that people hold prejudices, that people discriminate. And so if the hiring manager of a certain company has those and is practicing that in his hiring practices, right? And who he decides to hire, and he's being told like you do need to have a diverse workforce. That's a non-negotiable. I think the idea of saying that DEI inherently gives handouts to folks that are not white, I think is completely wrong. Because the
Yeah,
truth
but
of the
I'm not
matter
saying
is
it.
that those
But I'm not saying
No,
people
let her finish. Let her
you're.
finish.
are
Let her finish. Let her finish.
qualified.
Let her finish.
Those people are qualified. Those people are absolutely qualified. The truth is that you're not going to hire. Great example is then when we have this conversation about all these the air traffic controllers and Trump literally blaming that as DEI practices. He's saying, "Oh well, if you didn't hire all of these unqualified, uneducated." People of color or what minority folks that compared to their white counterparts, the truth is that those people have the same schooling, the same training, the same education. I think that that's a cop out. That's not
Yeah, but I'm
true.
not. But I'm not I'm not looking at it from my aspect, right? I'm looking at it from their aspect. Their aspect is we're giving handouts.
No, it's not. I don't. I
So
disagree.
so
No, I'm not.
they're
I'm.
at. Yeah, all right. Well, you feel that way, but I've been part of
I mean,
corporate
that's been
America.
said.
I've been part of corporate America, and I've seen
So have
people.
I. Like, I mean, I don't.
I've
That's not.
seen
That's
I've
not. That's
seen
not fair.
people get. I've seen people get positions who are not qualified, but because they've made noise, they've gotten these positions,
How you know that
right?
for is that or is this basically
No,
an
no, no. That's
is an
that's no. That's
assumption
a,
or
that's
how?
that's
But no,
a
you
no.
got
That's a fact.
because
No, that's a fact.
that's not
That's a
fair.
fact.
So the
But
person
it's
that
but it's a fact. But it's a fact.
but
It's a fact.
the person you're referring to, right? You can definitively say that he was unqualified. He or she was unqualified for that
Yes.
position.
Yes. Yes. To the point where they didn't know what to do when they were sitting at their desk.
But to
Well, do you
me,
think that was a DE hire or was that like a personal connection? Because the thing is that someone who knows somebody that has nothing to do about, oh, we needed to hire them because they were Hispanic or we needed to hire them because they were Asian. That could have just been, oh, that's my cousin. That's why they got
yeah.
hired. So I don't think that
Well,
that's fair to
like
say that the reason why he
in
got hired was because of
well
DEI.
in corporate America, I mean, yeah, you do have, if you have an in, sure, you can move up a little quicker. In this situation, it wasn't like that though.
But
In this situation, it wasn't
but
like
that
that.
goes for anything
But
though.
but for me, it goes back to it just seems to me that the reason why they want to take it away, right, that's get is because in somebody's mind, I don't know whose it is, but in somebody's mind, we have caught up and we no longer need we no longer need it.
Well, all right. So let me get
We
let's get
no
back
longer
to
need it.
let's get back to
So and that for me is and that's bullshit because we understand that that's not true, right? Just because I'm on the ladder, right, doesn't mean that I'm on the same rung. Doesn't mean that I'm on the same rung because you could be 20 stories up and I could be on the first floor on the ladder. Doesn't mean that I'm at the same level because it's not. We all know that it's not true.
All right. So wait,
You know what I mean?
let's get
But in
back to
somebody's mind, they feel like there's no need for it anymore because we're
Mhm.
it's an even playing
all right.
playing field. No, it's not.
All right. So let's
Can
get
I get off on one thing?
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Preach. I just want to get off on one thing to say to wrap it up is that DEI is so much more than race, right? We could talk about
Yes, it's
DEI in
gender.
regards
It's
to
yeah.
folks, gender, folks who, have any type of physical disability, mental disability, whatever it be, it's making sure that everybody has accessibility, right? Everybody is treated fairly. Everybody has a certain level of equality in regards to, you know, making sure that they can have a livelihood. So just wanted to get that off.
No, you're
DEI goes
right.
way past race,
But I think
just race.
you know that, and you're educated enough to know that. But I think subconsciously, in media wise, in certain outlets, we understand when they use the word DI, it's more referring to people of color. I think that's what it really. To be honest with you, that's just my interpretation. Especially when they use the word woke. Like woke isn't. I think it's much more of an attack on people of color. But let's get back to the premise
Hmm.
of the story. So DL Euclid said, this is according to TMZ. He said specifically he took aim at black players who attended, especially running back Saquon Barkley, claiming he can always tell from looking at a black person if they're really paying attention to black issues or not. Euclid says Saquon just looks and acts like someone who doesn't care about the problems of the black community, calling him indifferent to the issues. When asked if you can separate the honor of the White House invitation from the person uh, giving the invite, Hughley said, heck no, because he says Trump is not an honorable man and he's totally tainted the honor. I mean, two things could be true. Hughley also decries Trump for erasing prominent black figures from history like Harriet Tubman and Jackie Robinson. Because remember, they were trying, I think for a day, they took off Jackie Robinson. I forget which site it was. And then they ended up putting him back up on the site to honor him and his military work. He says, adding to Trump doesn't have any semblance of respect for black people, refusing to even apologize for the full page article he put about the Central Park Five. We all remember that. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, from the perspective of Saquon, okay? Because he also used a few other choice words. And I'm paraphrasing here. He basically says that, you know, he's a black man that doesn't fit the black mold, I guess. He has a white wife. He has mixed kids. I don't know if that's an issue. We'll get to that a little bit later. But Zay, do you believe like black males, especially an athlete like this, is there a disconnect from black issues if you do align yourself or appear with the president?
Listen, I think for an athlete to be invited to the White House is a big deal, and I don't think he's disconnected. I think he's just you know I don't know, just excited about being able to be by a president. I mean, we understand that Trump is whatever,
Right.
you know what I mean? Um, but he still is the president. You are still getting invited to the White House. I can understand how you would go. I could understand how you would go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You don't get invited. Not everybody gets invited to the White House. Not everybody gets invited to go play golf with the president. I mean, it's a big deal,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, but I could see how there would be a lot of backlash for him.
There were a
One
lot of
hundred percent.
there were a lot of players who didn't go. Jalen Hurts,
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
quarterback,
Hmm.
he said, you know, there was this chill out, chill out. But my problem with my problem with Jalen Hurts was when they asked him, "Are you going or not?" He didn't really say anything, and then said, "Well, I have a scheduling conflict." and then they're aligning him as this type of revolutionary. If you really felt that way, stand on business and be like, "Nah, I don't agree with his policies.
Mm.
I don't agree with him as a man, and I will not be, I don't want to do a photo shoot with him." Kiani,
Yeah,
what is your perspective on that?
Well, like I said, do I personally feel it's like a way about it? No, there's so many other things that are happening right now that actually have my attention and causing me emotional distress, right?
Okay.
This is not one of those. But if you're asking me what my opinion, do I think he's pandering to the white man? Yes, but I'm not surprised. As we're talking, I'm doing a little bit of research. I got a little ticket typing.
Right.
Yes, from what I understand, I knew that he went to Penn State. I also went to Penn State. I also know what Penn State main campus looks like. Very Caucasian, right?
Really?
I'm not
Okay.
surprised that he found himself. I found himself, you know, this white girl. I think that yeah, they met on campus. They met through school. So I did a little research. I asked where he's from. He is from the Bronx, but he moved to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, in 2001.
Okay.
So when I think about it, I think about maybe the community that he grew up in, thinking about the people he surrounded himself with, his friend group. What did they look like? Were they a group of black men? Or did you always have this white influence in your life? Going into college. So I think about what his politics may have been. Probably not super conservative, but I would not be surprised that he's disconnected from the black experience.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Understand being able to say that you've experienced, extreme racism, probably has been discriminated against. I'm sure he's probably seen that. I know Penn State University has had its,
Hmm.
things that have come out. But with that being said, maybe there is a disconnect. Maybe he doesn't feel as strongly about, advocating for the black community because he
Is he
himself
obligated? Is he
maybe doesn't feel
obligated to?
that.
Is he
Is he?
obligated? Is he obligated to?
I don't think that anybody is obligated to, even if you are at a position of, like a person of interest, you're an influencer, you're a celebrity. I don't think that anybody has an obligation to stand up, but I think that it does say volumes about your character or what you value, right? I'm not saying that anybody has to, but I do think that it makes a point that you chose not to. Like, for instance, I think that it makes a point that Jalen Hurts did choose not to go. Whether it be a scheduling conflict, whether he would have chose to go if that event wasn't there, whatever, is,
Hmm.
going to be a gray area for me. I can't really speak. I won't go to bat for that. But I will say that it does speak volumes, at least for the fan base, at least for myself, right, as a fan. And I think other people in the community who, given this administration and the volatility and everything that's going on in the news,
Hmm.
it does those small decisions mean something. I think also him canoodling with him like on a very friendly basis
Hmm.
is off-putting
Okay.
to say the least.
But okay, so you guys are Hispanic, right? So let's look at like immigration because obviously it's really hitting the Hispanic community. No matter doesn't matter what country, or maybe it does. You guys can correct me. But Zay, do you feel like you're obligated as a Hispanic man to have to feel a certain way about these issues? Like, once again, you're from Puerto Rico, correct?
Puerto Rican, Colombian.
Right. So you're Puerto Rican Colombian. Do you feel like you have an obligation? Let's say you're an athlete or you're a public figure. Do you feel like you are doing a disservice by not acknowledging issues in those communities, or are you, or we just should we just negate it or not being that? Well, it's not my problem. Like that's that specific case. I can't speak for all Hispanics.
Well, I can't speak for all Hispanics.
But do you feel obligated that you have to speak on Hispanic issues? I guess in general.
I think I should be educated about what's going on in the community. You know what I mean? But my personal decisions are my personal decisions. Who am I to jump on I don't know, man. That's a tough question. That's a really tough question to answer. That's a
Why?
tough question to answer. That's a tough question to answer because if it was me, I know for myself, even with what I do, right? My work, I talk to the guys about changing their lives and you know um, doing things to help themselves, especially you know um, as immigrants, in this country, in New York City.
Right.
I tell all the guys, you got to learn English. You have to learn English. You know what I mean? It's not a choice, guys. You know what I mean? You guys want to be more educated. You want to understand what's happening. You want to make more money. You want to do all these things. You need to learn the language. Step out of your comfort zone.
Mm.
And you know what I mean? Because it will. There's value in it. There's a lot of value in it. It's gonna open up doors for you. So I do that amongst all the people that I come in contact with, and I come in contact. Right now I've done over 750, almost 800 orientations on my job, and they're all Latinos. The
Right.
majority of them,
But
99% of
let
them.
me pose this though. So let's say Zay, you get an invite, right?
Hmm.
You get an invite. But obviously the biggest thing with the Trump administration is deportation, right? So we saw this past week that they put on the lawn. This is what I'm talking about. Like this is what I have a problem with. And this is why I think this issue isn't about Democrat or Republican. I think that it's about him. On the lawn, they put up pictures of everybody like of that they've pretty much deported. That I guess have committed crimes and who they've captured and deported. Okay, something to me doesn't seem like you're spiking the ball. Like I just don't like that. And those, but I guess I'm not judging it. I'm not, but those tend to be Hispanic men. Zay, you get an invite. You see them doing that on the front lawn. You're taking that invitation, even if it's. I know it's the White House. I know it's the presidency.
You know what? It's funny though, because I knew the question was coming, right? I knew the question was coming, and I probably would take the invite.
You'd walk past. So
Mm-mm.
you, yeah. That's
And
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because for me, it would be an opportunity for me, even if it's 2 seconds, to talk to the president and tell him you're fucking up.
yeah,
See that?
right. Get the. You
All
would not.
right, all
You would
right,
not
all
say.
right.
First of all, he'd be like, "Shouldn't you be
Uh,
mowing right now? Get
and
away
then
from me!"
and then I'd get escorted out. But the thing is that
No,
we look at
sir.
these
You'd get
situations.
deported.
Oh, whatever. We look at. I
I can't hear you. There you go.
Yeah, that's my mistake.
Good.
I said, I would look at it as an opportunity, even if it's just 2 words, to say what you're doing to the immigrants is really fucked up,
That's not. That's more than two
Miss,
words.
Mr. President. And then I'd get shuffled out of the house. But at least I could say that I went there and said my piece.
You'd be sent to El Salvador, my friend. Like, what are you talking about?
Said your piece.
I wouldn't be sent to El Salvador, but I wouldn't uh, uh I don't know. I don't think I would shy away from an opportunity to see the man who's putting our country in through so much turmoil, and have maybe an opportunity to say something to him.
But that's not gonna change his
Because
mind. Like I was.
too many people go to that place. Too many people go to that place and suck his dick.
Now that's a fact. That is true. Go ahead, Kiani. You have to say you want to say something.
I just listen. I just think that you know, personal opinion. I think that that's silly. I don't think that oh, I'm gonna stick it to him. I'm gonna say my 2 cents. I'm gonna
I
let
didn't
him
say I
know.
was.
He do
I
not
wouldn't. I
care.
wouldn't say.
He
I
do
wouldn't
not
stick it to
care.
him. He
He
may
do
not
not
care,
care.
but I'm gonna tell you something, Kiani. Key, we have all these conversations about what would we do if we had, and you and I have had this conversation. It starts somewhere. Somebody has to say something. Even if I get tossed out of that house, I can feel good knowing that I said something positive and I left it
That's
there.
not. I feel like what would be better is if
But
I could
who gets
organize
that?
and
But
to get on a stage and talk to the people about how we should be organizing together to combat that. Going to him in his house, literally going into his house and being like, "Bro, you fucking up."
He'd
you
be
know what's
like,
so funny though?
he'd be
You
like,
know
and
what's so you
and
know what's so
by
funny? If we had more people going to that house and telling them that they're fucked up, then maybe there would be some change. If we had more people going to that place, sucking dick less and saying more, maybe there would be change.
Well, that was
Yeah,
January
but that's the
6th.
whole reason why. Well, that's why he surrounds himself with loyalists. He would not have people who are going to discredit him and go against his word and question him in his camp.
And
The
that's why I
entire
would never.
White
And
House
that's
are
why I would never.
dick suckers. That's the whole
And
point.
that's why I will never ever get invited.
No, well,
That's why I
it's
will
a
never get invited.
it's a hypothetical question. That's I mean that's I don't know why you would get invited if you did. I mean, I don't know. Well, hard R's getting invited here. Why? Like I don't think that's gonna. What's
Right.
happening? Why? I don't like it. But at the end of the day, though, like they'd be like, he should be mowing the lawn. What is she doing here? And this guy's way black. He's done something. He's absolutely done something. Figure out what he's done, please. Check your pockets, please. Like I just,
Oh Lord.
and it goes back to like, I kind of, I don't agree wholeheartedly with DL Hughley because I think when you're talking about black men who do support him, they look at it in a perspective of economics. They have this perception that he's a good businessman. They just want more money in their pocket. Obviously, that's going the other way. To say that by you visiting him, and I do agree to a certain degree, he's not a regular figure in that office. Like, there's been Democrats in there, there's been Republicans in there, both that I can disagree with. Him morally as a person, I can't rock with whatsoever. I just can't. It's just I just know the reason why I say that is well, a few things, but one primarily, if Donald Trump was Donald Johnson, Tyreek Johnson, he wouldn't sniff the White House, and we know that. We know that if he had an ex-wife, he's been convicted of a felony, and if he was a brown skinned, dark skinned person of color, whatever, he wouldn't sniff the White House. Yet this man gets away with so much, and yet they put him on this pedestal like he literally incited a riot in the Capitol building. And they said, it's not a big deal. It's cool. It's all right. But God forbid if we riot in Minnesota, which granted, there were some bad things that happened. Absolutely. We're monsters. We're Neanderthals. That's my biggest problem with this whole situation. And I do think, I think Saquon should have understood. He shouldn't have been surprised by the backlash he did get. To be fair, he is a football player. We don't know if he's out here, really into politics like that. He did mention in his tweet he golfed with Obama. So, he's playing both sides. It's like, I've done it with both presidents. It's the honor of the presidency. So he could truly feel that way. But let's segue into why DL felt more keen to say that, and that's the fact of his Caucasian girlfriend or fiance. Now, this goes into the bigger conversation of the black athlete with the white woman, which you like who you like. I don't know if I could really care less. But it was found that she did put out some tweets years ago using the N-word. Granted, this is a question we'll start it off with Kiani. She was 15 or 16 at the time. Being that she used those words back then, is it still cancelable by putting out those tweets, or can you forgive it and say she was young, she was stupid, and she probably regrets putting those tweets out there?
I think it's difficult, right? Because we talk about the white community and we say not everyone is racist. But if you are raised in a racist family, you are going to have those practices and beliefs and values instilled in you. And if you choose at a later time to decide or to really educate yourself and say, no, this is wrong. I'm not, I don't believe these things. You guys are actually wrong. Like, that's what we want from that community. That's what people of color, specifically black folk, that they want those people to wake up. So do I think that, yes, she could change her ideas and beliefs, and that maybe at a very young age, she used that term? I think that, there's a possibility.
All right, well
I won't. I won't.
let me read the
Yeah.
tweets first. Let me read the tweets. So in one of the tweets, it said replace a Disney movie with nigga, okay? And she wrote the cheetah nigga, okay? Another tweet she says, "Hey, my little gold digger, she ain't messing with no broke niggas." Okay? She says,
Okay.
I ain't saying she a gold digger, but obviously referring to the Kanye West song, but she ain't messing with no broke
Mhm.
nigga. In the other tweet, she says, I thoroughly enjoy calling my mom nigga.
Okay.
So it's not a hard ER, but you know,
I think that that's honestly that sounds so terrible, but I honestly think that none of those none of those tweets were, I think, with bad intention in the sense of like calling somebody out
mhm.
and saying something negative about a black person. You know what I'm saying? I think that she thought she was part of the she thought she was invited to the cookout. I don't know what in the hell she thought was okay. She who gave her the pass? My question is who gave her the pass to say that, because she must have felt comfortable.
All right, so let me
I think it was
let me ask you
inappropriate.
a question. All right,
That's it.
let me ask you a question. If a white woman dates a black man, I already know the answer, but I'm gonna ask you this: is there some license to which where she feels like she can do it? She could say that word.
No, I don't think that. No,
You
Zay.
think
ever.
Coco? You don't think Coco would be like niggas, please? You think Coco don't be nigga in Ice T? Am I? Do you tell me? T- Tell me. You gonna tell me she gonna be like, get the fuck out of here, nigga? You don't think so?
Ooh, it's hot in here.
Answer the question.
I,
No,
I,
I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, yeah, I don't. She got a black body though, so I
But
mean,
she was. But she. That's the past. That's the past.
that's the past. That's the
Oh
past.
no.
Once again, that the hard R and the A. Here we go again with the same conversation that we had at the beginning of you know in our first episode, right? Um, and I just it don't phase me anymore when I hear white people using that word like that. It just doesn't. It doesn't phase me because they have assimilated into the culture and almost taking it over now. So like, you know what I mean? How did you not expect people who listen to our music, love our music, follow our music? They are the ones that pay for the concert tickets to go see the artist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Those are the people who look going to see the concert.
Yes, yes, that's very true. Yes, 100%.
You know
Yes.
what I mean? And then not expect to pick up the slang. Like, come on now, it's just yeah, I understand. Younger kids will say "nigga." I hear it all the time. These little kids across the street like, "What's up, my nigga?" Da, 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 da. That's how they
Yep.
talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? As they get older, they'll stop using it because now they have a different understanding, right?
Right.
And they won't use the hard R or the A just because there are certain people that they don't give a fuck whether you use the A or the hard R. You will get fucked up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you may say it to somebody who's cool with it, but if the other person hears it, you might get smacked.
It's funny you said so. Kiani said something crazy, not crazy, but said something funny earlier. Do Hispanics have a credential to get in the cookout? Like, what are y'all credentials to have
Hell,
people?
motherfucking yes.
What's all right?
Hell,
So,
Yeah.
fucking yes.
all right. So let's start
The
off with.
seasonings, the
Hell
with
yes.
salt too.
Whoa,
Like
whoa, whoa!
we
Slow
be
down,
What?
bringing.
slow down,
Oh,
slow down.
No,
Let's
hold
start.
up, hold up.
Oh, let's start
Give
with
me
this.
my mac and cheese. Don't play.
No, no, no. I'm talking about I'm talking about the Hispanic cookout. What's the criteria for being invited to the Hispanic cookout? What's in the what do you need to do to
uh,
get invited to the Hispanic?
Nothing. You just get invited.
no. But y'all, need to be ready to dance. You need to be ready
Okay.
to, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying, show some moves. If you're gonna come to the Spanish cookout, get ready to dance some salsa or hit the bachata. You need to, We
Oh
gonna
yeah,
definitely test those
and
moves.
drink a lot,
I
and
was
drink
just
a
about
lot,
to say, yeah, you have to
and
drink a
drink
lot.
a lot,
Yeah,
and drink a
yeah.
lot. You and
Oh,
you better drink every single beer that's handed to you because they're
Yeah.
oh,
watching you. They're
Shots of
watching you.
tequila.
They're watching you. As soon as that beer comes down, they pass you another ice cold beer. Here, yeah. They don't play.
so you have to know.
They
You
do
do have
not
to. You
play.
have to know like Hector Lavoe songs and shit. Like, what?
You better sing along, motherfucker. Better sing along.
I just always wondered like what's the criteria to be invited
And
to the Hispanic cookout? That's always been my.
listen, and you better go crazy when El Baile de Beeper, El Baile de Beeper goes on. You better go crazy.
Do I have to know how to play dominoes?
Yes,
You have to know how to play
Yes.
dominoes.
that is not a game. Yes, you have to
He
learn
Do
how to
y'all
got
play that.
close to the
do y'all
camera to say that.
do y'all play spades?
No.
No.
What? Oh man, I'm
See,
trying to
but our dominoes is like your spades.
you know what I'm doing right now? I'm kind of trying to decipher which food is better at which cookout. I'm gonna take a black cookout every time. Don't get me wrong. I like penne. I like the arroz con pollo. I like all that stuff. But a black cookout got better food. I think I'm gonna stand on that. I'm sorry, y'all, but
And what's that? I'm just curious. Like, what would you say are the staple dishes you're gonna find at the black cookout that's
well,
definitely better?
the ribs are gonna be fire. The mac and cheese is gonna be fire. The potato salad is gonna be fire. Um, the chicken's gonna be fire. Little burnt, but still fire. Um, the corn is gonna be. Y'all might have the corn. Y'all might have the corn. Do y'all put the parmesan
Hmm.
on the? Yeah, okay. Y'all might have the corn. Y'all might have that. But nah, the black cookout got better food. I'm sorry. You know.
If you ask me, hands down, I would rather go to a black cookout for food.
Ooh, for food,
I would. Come on, man. I'm
Hmm.
Spanish. I how much
y'all
arroz
might
con
have
pollo am I gonna eat?
y'all might have better drinks though, because we're gonna have Hennessy, but you get kind of tired of Hennessy after a while. You're like, yo, all right, I'm
Yeah,
Henny
but
guy.
that's like if you go to like a Dominican cookout, then it's Mama Juana and
Ooh,
Presidentes.
I'm not invited to the Dominican cookout. I'll tell you that much.
Why not?
Y'all also have the dog just roaming too. That's the crazy part. Y'all Hispanic cookouts be having just a dog just chilling,
Hanging out.
hanging out.
Yeah, accurate.
Damn, that's crazy. Y'all got the dancing though. Nah, the music. I think we might have the music too. But it's to each his own too. Y'all have y'all salsa. Y'all have y'all dances or whatever. We got the electric slide. Who, by the way, did you see Shannon Sharp do the electric slide?
Who?
Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp.
Oh, it was
No.
horrendous. I got to pull up that video for y'all. But
No.
Oh no.
all right, let's get to a hard. Let's do R A or nay. I had. Give me a second because I got to pull these people up. Do y'all have any people y'all want to do a RA or nay for?
Coco.
I think we already. Do I believe the wife of Ice T has ever said that? I don't. Well, I definitely don't think hard R. I don't think she's said hard
I
R.
definitely don't think hard R, but
No.
definitely A. Definitely A. Nigga, where you going? Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Kiani, would you agree?
I don't know. I just don't feel. I don't know. I don't feel confident in it.
Yo, I listen. She's a bit polished these days, but she used to be borderline hood back in the days.
She busts a gun. That's a fact. Um, this might be interesting though. I'm gonna ask you, Justin Timberlake, RA or nay? Let's go, Kiani. Justin Timberlake.
I I don't know why I couldn't justify it for you, but I feel like it's a hard ER. I feel like he has slipped that
Damn.
out his mouth. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow.
There's
Wow.
something deep in my soul that's feeling like that's right. And that's where, and don't ask me to explain it
Wow.
because I can't explain it to you, but there's something about him, maybe you know what it is, and this is an aside, but just the way he was like Britney shady. I don't think
You're breaking
he's
up. Hold
like,
on. Hold on. Repeat that. Say that again.
can you hear me?
Nah, here. Yeah, go ahead.
I just don't think he's authentic. I know his situation with Britney Spears and like all that, and the Janet Jackson and like mind you, that's all very separate, and that's his actions towards women. I just feel like he's not a genuine or authentic person. I feel like he probably had that slip out his mouth at one point. I don't know.
Wow. You know, Keanu, you're kind of convincing me, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're kind of convincing me.
I
Um,
listen. I don't have to say much. Just think about it. Just ponder it.
I don't know, man. I love that first album.
Yeah, nah, I think it did.
Yeah, Justin Timberlake. I'm not sure, man.
Nah, but the thing is that Justin has been in the industry for since he was a little kid.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
Hmm.
like, and he's been around artists all his life. Maybe as a little kid, because remember Justin Timberlake was part of what was the group?
In sync.
In Sync.
Yeah,
So yeah, because I always get them confused with Backstreet or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Um, he was part of In Sync when he was. I don't even think he was like
He might have been 17,
well,
18.
13. No, he was a little kid.
Well, he no, he was. Remember, he was with the
No,
Disney.
No, he was with Disney.
Yeah,
He was
the
with
Minnie
Disney.
Mouse Clubhouse
Mickey Mouse. Yeah,
thing.
Mickey
That's where
Mouse.
he met
Yeah,
Britney.
yeah.
That's where he met a lot of them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but he was 13. He was like 13 years old, or was it the? No, it was him. It was him. It was
So you
Justin.
all right? So you think he has said it? You think he said hard R?
I don't know. I don't know. That's hard for me. That's
Me
that's that's
too. I don't.
that's hard for me. Yeah, the hard R. I don't know. A definitely. Just because he's been around everybody for such a long time. You know what I mean?
That's a tough one, man. I'm not sure. Justin Timberlake. I'm not sure, man. That's a.
I just don't find him to be cool enough to use A. I think he used hard ER or nothing at all, but I don't think he used an A. I don't.
Oh
Even with
man.
all his associations in the music industry, with people of color.
No, he gives me white boy. He gives me real white boy.
You
I
talking
just
about
can't.
like frat white boy vibe? That's what you're saying.
Nah,
Yeah, like not
Justin.
I don't
like
agree.
not
Nah,
frat.
nah. I don't
No,
agree.
I just think he's like a boy band white boy, like a boy band white
Well,
boy.
he is though.
Just I don't know.
He
That's
is
what
a
I'm
boy
saying.
band, white boy, but
Exactly. I
yeah,
don't
but
get him saying that he'd
But
be
when he
saying
went,
that like
yeah,
in
but when he
conversation.
went solo, he was hanging out with
Pharrell, the
yeah,
Clips. Yeah, yeah. You know.
fucking what's his other the other producer
Mm-mm.
that did
Oh, Timberland. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm gonna say never. I'm gonna say nay. I don't think he's ever said it. You know what I mean? I dance too much to his music. Like I like that first album is crazy, man. For real, for real. That first Justin Timberlake album was kind of nuts. Like, yeah, I can't do it to him. I don't think he's ever said the word. So I'm gonna
I
stand on
see the fandom over here. He's a fan.
that. I know. I am a fan. I like his music. Like I've caught shit for it, but okay. Last, his music's
He
fire. I
said
don't care
I've
what you
gotten shit for it.
do. I have like, but lastly, Britney Spears, R A or nay. Now,
I
before
de-
before you
definitely
answer,
are.
before you answer, I'm gonna negate that. Before you answer, remember when she went through that phase where she was losing her mind? Not saying that it had anything to do with black
Mhm.
people, but you know she got all her hair, she wilded the hell out. So just know she's capable of anything. Just keep that in mind. So Zay, you're gonna stick with the R.
Hell, fuck yeah.
Give me the instance in which she said it.
The instance,
In which she would say it.
mm,
Why would she say it?
um, I don't think she. Where was she born? She was born in Mississippi.
Oh damn.
Nah. See, Justin was born in Tennessee.
Yes.
She was born in Mississippi, son.
Mm. So
Mm.
based off that, you're gonna say R?
So yeah, definitely. She was yeah, yeah.
All right, Keanu, what do you think?
I agree. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep the train running. It's the hard ER here for her as well. They come from the same roots, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse,
Right.
But I
Yeah, but
also feel like
I never seen her mess around with a person of color either.
Um,
wasn't her most recent that Sam Zari something. She was just dating somebody. I don't know where he's
Um,
from. He's not
listen,
white though.
I mean, you don't have to date a black person to, you know what I mean, like to excuse yourself from the from the word like.
No, I mean, from I think that she's definitely said it. Do I think it was from through an episode, or if she was consciously saying that, in the right mind state? I don't know. But again, couldn't explain it to you, but something deep in my soul is telling me, whispering in my ear. Yeah, yeah,
I'm
she's
gonna.
definitely said it before.
You know what? I might be naive. I'm gonna say nay. I don't think she's ever said it either, man. You know what I'm saying?
You a fan too?
No, I'm not a fan. I do like the song "Toxic" though, but I'm just gonna say no. I don't think. No, I don't think she said it.
Justin Timberlake did say nigga though.
Where?
He said it in the movie though. Black Snake Moan.
Oh no, that's not. It's a movie. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you gotta find it like interesting? Because I've been watching Sopranos, and it's crazy like how like I've been watching a lot of like I watch Goodfellas, Sopranos, a lot of mob stuff recently, and it's crazy how black culture is so infatuated with it. But in those movies and in the culture, they look down upon us like ridiculously
Yeah, we're
hard,
the scum of the earth.
like hard R with a lot of pasta on it, like a lot of marinara on that shit.
A lot of sauce.
I don't know why why haven't we ever.
Because we glorify the gangster. We always, you know what I mean? We've always glorified the gangsters.
What was the
Whether
what was the moment when in the Godfather when he was talking about you see guys in the Harlem with their Cadillacs and the niggas they making money now. I'm like, holy shit, this is such a good movie, but that was offensive.
and they're always talking shit about us. I mean, in all the movies where there's Black Sugar Hill, the niggas, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. By the way, I got to get back on my Godfather of Harlem. I got to get back on that. Y'all watch that?
Yeah, I forgot what episode. Oh, I think I ended, and that's very early. Is when his right hand man stole some doogie from him.
Oh yeah, you got a lot of catching up to.
Yeah.
Kiani, what are you watching?
Right now,
Yeah.
I haven't watched The Godfather. I've heard a lot about it. I probably seen like little snippets, but I've never actually watched it through.
You've never watched The
No,
Godfather?
no, or The Sopranos. So, although I did have somebody who just watched The Sopranos in full, and they said it was great, and that definitely recommend watching. So it's on my to watch list. Okay,
So what series
but
do you
no,
watch?
right now,
Kiani don't watch
I,
TV
I
at
mean,
all.
I mean, I'm a Netflix girl now, I guess. So whatever be on Netflix. But
Oh my
Black
god.
Mirror just came out with a new season. I don't know if you guys like Black Mirror. So
I
I'm
watch.
like, I just kind of watch whatever is out. And I go through phases. I go through phases where I watch something on Netflix. Maybe I go through a phase where I'm reading. There's not enough time in the day. But I try not to be a couch potato these days. But I will say my favorite series, like recent times,
Mhm.
is like Breaking Bad. I always rave about Breaking Bad. Loved it.
I feel like Breaking Bad is overrated.
You're
Okay.
bugging. You are bugging.
Breaking Bad is good for one watch. Like it's good for okay, I watched the whole series and it was good or whatever, but I've never gone back and like I don't need to rewatch it again. Sopranos,
Oh no, no, no.
I could watch it again and again and like Sopranos is that good in my opinion. Breaking Bad, I don't
No.
need to watch again. Like it was cool for what it was, but I'm like I'm good. I'm all right. All right, let's close out, guys. Thank you so much. This was fun. A lot happened here. A lot was discussed. A lot of N words was flung around, but we kept it light. And we just know that Zay is our DEI hire. You're our DEI hire, Zay. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
You were forced upon us.
What's funny though is, I mean, not to dive back into it. I don't want anybody misunderstanding what I said. I don't believe.
Don't moonwalk now, brother.
Oh,
Don't
oh
moonwalk
no, I'm
now.
not moonwalking. No, I'm not moonwalking. What I said was like when I said the whole handout thing. I'm talking from the perspective of the Caucasians who own the companies. That's what they look. That's what they think That's what they think that is, as far as that aspect of it. You know what I mean? Oh, all these handouts, just like the schools. You know how the schools are, oh, they're giving all these scholarships and bumping, all these Caucasians off and giving the scholarships, to Indians and Afro Americans, da da da. Oh, it's more handouts to them, more handouts to them, right? Not understanding the history, behind all the oppression. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to clarify that. I don't believe it's a handout, but there's a certain demographic that definitely does look at it that way.
I like how you're towing your opinion backwards, sir. That's good though. I like that.
No, that's what I meant. That's what I meant to say, and that's the reason why I can't. I circle back to it because it makes me sound like I'm saying, "Oh, it's a handout." No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it from the perspective of of them, from their perspective. Because I've had this conversation with individuals before on construction sites, and it's like, "Oh, they're getting all of this." I have a friend of mine who his son didn't go to the school that he wanted to because they gave the scholarship away to somebody from Bangladesh.
Hmm.
And he was like, "How is it that my son gets bumped? This kid doesn't have the same GPA that my son does, but now my son can't go to that school."
Oh well, there's plenty of other schools, nigga. Fuck outta here.
I understand. I get that, but when once again in his mind, he's like, "Yeah, a bunch of handouts. They just
Please, they'll be all right.
so."
All right, man. Guys, have a good night. Thank you everybody for watching. This was great. This was fun, and we'll see you guys.